Kayleigh McEnany, mouthpiece for the president. So she's following everything he says about the fact that mail-in ballots, they might not be safe. We're really worried about that. And we all know that the states are going to need help. So are they providing that? Well, she was asked that question.
Is focused on is making sure that our election is not riddled with voting fraud and that the timetable is not hung up here. There are several lawsuits that the campaign is engaged on, and I would point you to the campaign for specifics.
That doesn't answer my question, though. My question is, what is the White House doing to get more resources for funding and staff to make sure, as the president says, that it will be a secure and safe election?
Well, as you know, Peter, states run their elections, and it is up to states to make sure that they have.
So yeah, that's very clear. They're asking for more money. They need it. So we cut out a little bit, and what it is because Kayleigh McEnany, like, I'm gonna be nice about this. We saw her binders. All she does is she hears a noun, and then she looks for that tab, and then she reads a paragraph that she's printed. There's no reason to have her there. So she did that on this. He said, well, what resources are you making available? And she said, okay, as someone said in the Washington Post, New York is largely to blame for their own problems, and we know that states are responsible. And he's like, no, I get it. Yeah, the states sometimes make mistakes. That's why the federal government needs to give them as many resources as they think are necessary because of how important the stakes are in this election. And she had no response to that. They're not going to provide any new resources. And we already know that in all of these different negotiations over the past few months, the concerns have been raised about, will we be able to have a safe election? 6 months out from the election, will we be able to have a safe election? And the response has always been, especially from the Republicans, I guess, maybe we'll see. I don't know. And that's what we got from her there. They're preemptively saying the states are responsible if there are mistakes, and we won't do anything because they want there to be chaos on election day. That would be the best case scenario.
Yes.
They want to be able to say, we don't have to abide by whatever happens in this election. And they're setting that situation up.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, and this is what's so interesting about Republicans co-opting what should be a Democrat line, right? And the fact that, again, we don't have the opposition that we need to confront this, party of death right now. But if we did, I mean, when was the last time that an election went to the Republicans because of one state's ridiculous system and that failed completely because we left it to the states? That set in motion the George W. Bush administration, 2 international wars and some, a giant debt because of those wars, Barack Obama and then Donald Trump, so some good with some bad, but come on, I mean, this is the thing. It's like Democrats are the ones who should be saying, actually, this only benefits you. We know, we've seen you try and play dirty tricks before. You've played these dirty tricks before. We should be the ones to be concerned about election fraud.
Yeah.
Because it's coming from the highest levels. But you're absolutely right. They want the chaos. And they want sort of the cynicism. I think that's the other thing is it's the internet, right? If you sow enough cynicism and doubt, then I don't know, maybe were there children in cages ever? That was just a rumor. Did you ever see video? I didn't.
Exactly.
What about the moon landing?
Really? It's way up there. Doesn't seem likely. So I'm glad that you brought that up. Sometimes we're just really in sync. So you brought up, well, look at what happens when there's election chaos and the Supreme Court gets involved. And effectively decides for themselves who's going to win the election, and then all of what comes from that. So you bring that up. I talked about it last week on the show. The thing is, we bring it up as a cautionary tale, but not everyone is citing it as a cautionary tale. I want to go now to one more video. This is Governor of Arkansas, Asa Hutchinson, bringing up that decision as hey, keep it in mind, and wouldn't it be great sort of thing.
The president should accept the results no matter what.
Well, the president should accept the results, just like presidents in the past have accepted the results. I mean, you remember Bush versus Gore. It went to the United States Supreme Court. There's always issues that happen that are appropriate to reserve for seeing what the situation is, but we shouldn't be fretting about it in advance.
Exactly. So he's saying, no, he should totally accept it. But things happen. Remember 2000? Wasn't that swell? That was what he was saying. And he's effectively, not that he has the power or whatever, but that's what's floating out there, is that maybe the Supreme Court can possibly save Trump from what looks like is going to be a disastrous election. And all of what they're saying about mail-in votes and all of that is not an actual expression of fear that it won't work. It's that they want people to believe that they can't be trusted. And so on election day, when we get the in-person votes, if it looks good for Trump, he can try to shut down the count, which the Supreme Court has already done in the past. As Asa Hutchinson said, it would be too much chaos if we were to wait 2 days or a week to find out the results. So let's just take what we have right now, which, by the way, is good for Trump. And our only hope at that point is that the Supreme Court doesn't rule on their side, which, good luck, because it's a right-wing Supreme Court, so they just might, and that Joe Biden doesn't throw in the towel instantly to help the nation heal. While its democracy dies, but Al Gore already threw the thing away at like the first sign of trouble, and Joe Biden seems like more of an appeaser than Al Gore was back in 2000, so all of this is an absolute disaster.
I don't know. I think Pop still's got it in him to like fight for this election. You know, I think he'll be like, put it here.
If Biden fought, he would box like this.
Yeah, he's definitely, and just like in like tall socks and like an undershirt.
But like a shirt that's like blue and white stripes. Yeah, maybe.
It's so sad. But yeah, maybe. It depends on like what kind of morning it is, you know, how the grape nuts were. We don't know. But yes. Yeah, right there. Exactly. You're exactly right, John. They're hoping it would be thrown to the Supreme Court. And once again, I think it's on all of us. I stand by this. I know people on the left and progressives, we can be so cynical because we see how horribly unfair a two-party system is. But in this case, when we're going into November, we can't be the cynics. The Republican Party is the most cynical party in all of history. Like, seriously, they are cynical. Donald Trump was a cynical vote. Don't ever get that twisted. It was not a vote for hope. It was a cynical, like, you know, take it all, destroy it all vote. We are now the party of moral values. We are now the party of family values. We are now the party of life. We are now the party that like wants a future for our children. Yeah. We have to really draw that line in the sand and remember that we can't afford cynicism right now. We have to be clear-headed, know what the fight is going to be, vote for Biden and fight like hell to make sure that he can be pulled to the left, actually pass policies that will help the majority / all of Americans.
Yeah. Fight like hell. Then, after Election Day, we'll get really drunk that night, sleep it off, take like 2 or 3 days, and then continue fighting like hell. That's what we're going to have to do. In the words of Zane, fisticuffs, good sir. That's what we need. We need fisticuffs, good sir. For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.